Hey, we've got a second lesson on Algebra 2 solving, and it probably will take 2 days to get through it, but we don't have a warm up for this. This is just the second day of solving. So the problems you were working on in the previous ed puzzle, if you look at the absolute value here, there was nothing inside with it. And so now we're taking it to the next level. And this is the second reason you got up this morning. So as we're doing this, first of all, notice there's nothing on the outside of it that we have to get rid of. So we're ready to take on the absolute value. And the way I think of it is the only way to crack it open to do it is to think about it as two parts. So we're gonna take that bar and that bar. We're gonna go in two different directions. And you're gonna think to yourself, so what number has an absolute value of 7? And the fact is that there's two. So there is x plus 2 equals 7. But then what is the other number that has an absolute value of 7? And we're going to use that to set up this equation. So hopefully you said -7. And when you do that separation and you go into two different problems, that officially gets rid of the absolute value. So imagine that you're kind of stretching it open and going in two different directions. Okay, from here, then you're going to solve it like you would a t-chart. This is a level 1 t-chart. So this is when we first began doing t-charts back in chapter 3. So they're going to ask the question, how do you undo a +2? And the answer is you subtract 2. Whatever you do to one side, and you're left with 7 minus 2, 5. Now, if you remember back from previous problems, it tended to be the answers were like 5 and -5. But that's not the case here. So if you do that, you won't get the right answer. You still have to undo +2. And the way you undo it is to subtract 2. You're left with an x here. But what is -7 minus 2? The answer is -9. So imagine it's 7 degrees below 0, and it gets 2 degrees colder. Now you're at -9. The big thing to notice is that it's not 5 and -5. It is really 5 and -9. So anytime you see this means there's an added degree of difficulty. Okay, so that's the first one. Here's the second one. What two numbers have an absolute value of 16 is what you're asking yourself. So we're going to crack that open to two different answers. Whoops. So what two numbers have an absolute value of 16? The correct answer is 16 and -16. So we're going to set that up. X minus 5 equals 16. And we're going to do x minus 5 equals -16, because there are two numbers that have an absolute value of 16. There you go. And then you're going to solve those with t-charts. And again, these are just one-steppers. This would be very similar to what we did at the beginning of algebra. And so then how do you undo a -5? Yep, you add 5. And what is 16 plus 5? And hopefully you said it was 21. So there's your first answer. Now it's going to feel redundant because how do you undo a -5 over here? You still add 5. If people are going to make a mistake, they think, oh, I had to do something different than add 5. But no, it's the same thing both times. Equal treatment. And last question, what is -16 plus 5? And hopefully you said -11. Right, so these are your two answers. And notice it's not like 21 and -21. They really are two very different answers. A lot of times one is positive and one is negative, but that's not always the case. So this is the type of problem that we're doing now. It's a little more challenging. We have 2 more of those in this lesson. So how do you undo the absolute value? Imagine that you're kind of stretching it out and going in 2 directions with those bars to create 2 different problems. And you're still saying x plus 4 for both of them. One of them's going to say x plus 4 equals 9, and the other one is going to say x plus 4 equals what? Hopefully you said -9. All right, then we're going to t-chart that. How do you undo a plus 4? Oops, my little arrows are gray. It's all right. That's right, you subtract 4. 9 minus 4, x equals 5. All right, same exciting thing going on over here. It says plus 4, you still minus 4. Nothing new to see here. The real excitement is this moment. What is -9 minus 4? Hopefully you said -13. And those are your 2 solutions. All right, 1 to go here. All right, notice again, the x has a buddy inside. It's not working alone. So we are going to stretch those bars out. The 2 directions, because in general, absolute values have up to 2 answers. You're going to rewrite that. X minus 5 equals what? And x minus 5 equals what? What are we going to put in this first spot? What are we going to put in the second spot? Answer is 7 and -7. All right, then we're going to t-chart it. How do you undo a -5? That's right, you're going to add 5. What's 7 plus 5? So on one side you have x equals 12. And then here you're going to undo -5, so you're going to add 5. And what is -7 plus 5? Hopefully you said -2. All right, and that's what you do when the x is not by itself inside the absolute value.